Next up, we have Tartaglia Childe battle theme all phases from the Genshin Impact soundtrack. Once again, everybody, this is a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician, a composer, and my objective here is to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what is happening here musically. So, if you like the sound of that, make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member. Once again, everybody, what happens if you reach 10,000 before Christmas? Members get early access, the gaming channel, yes, I have a gaming channel, how to request songs if you're not in the live stream, that and a bunch of other things I have at the end of the video, so stick around for that. Disclaimers showing on your screen right now, so go ahead and pause the video if you want to read them in full. Otherwise, please keep in mind, I am acoustic and guitared, so be patient with me. Other than that, let's do this. Tartaglia. Let's go. Okay, so we start with incredible, like Genshin music never fails. I remember playing this one. So we start with this plucked instrument. I don't really know which one this is. It's definitely Chinese. So we're having that, arpeggiating a chord, and arpeggio, by the way, arpeggio is when you play a chord one note at a time. So let's example here, right? C major, here is arpeggiated. So yeah, we're having the chord, we're having, I think, the bossy in the accompaniment as well. So, by the way, the bossy is the name for the section that combines the violoncellos and the double basses. We're definitely going to need an orchestra for this. So, a picture of an orchestra. So let me bring my favorite picture of the NEC Philharmonic. So here you can see the cellos, that are the ones that are sitting down over here on the right side. Then you have the double basses, the bigger ones that are being stood up. Yeah, those two combined are called the bossy. We have that going on. Then we bring the flute. We bring a flute in, giving us our initial motif. Motif being the smallest version of your musical idea, the essence from which everything else comes from. Let's see where it goes. And we have the other strings right now. Okay, so the bossy is giving us basically a cadence. Bum, bum. They're giving us that like upbeat and downbeats feeling, while we are having the rest of the string orchestra. The string orchestra is just all the violins, all the violas, doing either staccatos or pizzicato, or a combination. Staccato is when you play in short bursts, right? Short, quick bursts of music. Here I have this one, right? That is staccato. Whereas pizzicato is when you take an instrument that would usually be bowed, such as a violin, and you pluck the string instead. Here in this case, we might have a combination of both going on over here. I can't fully distinguish. I think it might just be staccato going on. And then, of course, I mentioned upbeat and downbeat. So music, three components, right? Melody, harmony, rhythm. Your melody, your individual horizontal lines of music, very, very lovely, straightforward. Harmony being what the most complicated by far. What notes you're using, what scales come out of that, what chords come out of that, the relationships, and you can just keep extrapolating, so on and so forth. While rhythm is your use of time. How fast, how slow things happen, when they happened, the rhythm, the beat, all that kind of stuff. Tempo, beat, all that kind of stuff. And usually this is determined by what is called a time signature. Time signature is made out of two numbers, upper number and lower number. Upper number is going to be the number of beats that you're going to have in the metronome. Lower number is going to be the type of beats that you're going to be basing it itself on. In English, it's super easy to remember. Whole notes are represented by number 1, half notes by number 2, quarter notes by number 4, eighth notes by number 8, 16th notes 16, so on and so forth. Something to keep in mind, one whole note contains two half notes, one half note contains two quarter notes, so on and so forth. So a 4/4 bar would be 4 quarter notes in your metronome. Metronome is the click that keeps your beat, right? So in this case, simple, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can see And there's gambling, points gambling. Yes, the points you get by watching the stream, you can waste them all. I need to change the message to remind you that you can waste them all. Yeah, so you can lose them all because the system is designed to make you lose. I did not configure anything. So yes, you can see that I'm making a little hand gesture while I'm counting. This hand gesture is usually something used in what is called conducting. Conducting is the job of this guy right here. A conductor is a human metronome for an orchestra. It's one of the most difficult jobs that you can have in the world of music, and you have to be at least a little bit insane or an eccentric or esoteric character to be able to do conducting. Because this guy over here, for whatever piece is being played, he knows every note that is being played by every single instrument, every single person in this entire orchestra. Every single one. I learned how to conduct. It's really difficult. It's really, really difficult. I remember story time, right? I once went to the Boston Symphony Orchestra because I studied at the Berklee College of Music. I went to the Boston Symphony Orchestra for a rehearsal. I got to see Andris Nelsons. Andris Nelsons is my favorite conductor. Andris Nelsons, my favorite conductor ever. This guy is insanely good. Insanely good. And I got to see one of his rehearsals at the Boston Symphony Hall, and I remember seeing them. They were practicing some new composer piece. I don't even remember who it was, but they were conducting, and they were rehearsing a couple of areas. They played the whole thing, which was like, they didn't play the whole thing. Like, they played a couple of sections. It was like half a minute of music that they rehearsed when we were there, and like the first time, right? And when they stopped, he was like, okay, measure 3, third, second violin, you were off, so please make sure you address that. Measure 14, second flute, please just make sure that you hit this, this, and this. And he just went one by one to the instruments that he wanted to fix, and he did it. Like, and that's just, I mean, it's Andris Nelsons, he's one of the best ever, and it's the Boston Symphony Orchestra, one of the highest standards ever when it comes to music, to a point that I remember. A second story, right? I went to a Mozart concerto once. They had a trombone. They had a couple of trombones. One of the trombones missed one note during a super climactic part. The guy just missed one note. On my way out to, like, you know, when the concert ended, like, everybody moved on for everything and everything. On the way out, I saw the trombone player walking with his little box of things. He got fired that same day. They finished the concert, he got fired that same day. That's how intense playing. That's how error-free you have to be when playing in a symphony orchestra. You can make mistakes during the rehearsals. You cannot make mistakes during the concert. That is how high intensity, high stress playing in an orchestra, especially in something like Boston Symphony, New York Philharmonic, New York Symphony, whichever one of these, like London Symphony, London Philharmonic, London Royal Opera House, all of these that are the highest of the high standard. There's 13 people waiting for you to make a single mistake. And the moment you make it, they know they are next. And the moment they make a mistake, they know they are next. It's insane. It's high intensity. You have to be grade A world-class musician to be able to do any of these. So it's insane to do this. So it just goes to put into perspective how difficult even being in an orchestra can really be. And we just getting this masterpiece over here. Anyway, enough of my tangents. Let's go. So we're developing the melody and the flute. Oh yes, and I was going on about rhythm, downbeats and upbeats. So the reason why it's called a downbeat, the reason why it's called an upbeat is because of conducting. When you're conducting, when you're doing 4/4, there is a hand gesture, a motion that you can do. And it looks a little bit like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can see over here, this one going down is always going to be the first beat, also known as the downbeat. Then we have number 2 over here, number 3 over here, and number 4, or the last beat of the measure, always being the upbeat. This happens with every single measure type that you can think of. The only one that you don't is the one that is 1, right? Like 1, where 1 is both the down and the upbeat. Other than that, 1, 2. 2 is the upbeat. 1, 2, 3. 3 is the upbeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is the upbeat. The upbeat is always the last beat of the measure and then you come down to the downbeat for the first one. And we're having that in the bossy. Then we're having the violins doing that extra arrangement. We're slowly escalating. Let's see where this goes. Oh, we bring in snare. Okay, we bring in a snare to accentuate a little bit what the bossy are doing. Which, the snare usually very much, especially an orchestral snare, is played a little bit different than like a rock band snare. It's going to give you more of a militaristic sound. Because snares used to be used in marching in bands, because very sharp noise, very sharp, and it's very easy to hear it from a distance. So yeah, we're having that, and it's just building up. Let's see where it goes. And the flutes are just completely jamming, improvising on top of the motifs. Second flute, playing higher up. Nice. It's so good. So we bring in an accordion now, and in this kind of thing, a Fatui Leitmotif. I think that was the Fatui Leitmotif, because I keep forgetting. I think it was about a Leitmotif. Yeah. So this kind of piece is a very interesting type, because these solos are composed in advance, and they play on the motif. Like, we're having the motif and we're going around the motif, and then we're adding a solo to this kind of thing, a solo aspect to this, which gives the piece the sense of liberty and freedom while maintaining everything else. Of course, now we bring in an accordion, and we had the Fatui Leitmotif. A Leitmotif is a special type of motif. The term was coined by Richard Wagner when he composed what he called the ring cycle of operas. It's 4 operas, and it's a series of operas. So like it's 4 operas, 3 to 4 hours long, depending on the performance each. So that's 12 to 16 hours of opera, and it's one single story, right? Absolutely insane. Tolkien used it partially as inspiration for The Lord of the Rings, so it has a lot of these things. And Richard Wagner decided, that's a lot of music to write, so let me reuse some of it. Leitmotif and motif are not the same thing. Every leitmotif is a motif. Not every motif is a leitmotif. A leitmotif is a motif that references previous material. So, for example, in the first one, Das Rheingold, the first opera, Das Rheingold, it takes place in the story is the building of Valhalla. You have Odin, you have Loki, you have Freya, you have the giants, and all of this. They have to go to Nibelheim, and every time Valhalla is shown, mentioned, or otherwise referenced, the Wagner tubas play a very specific motif, which is the leitmotif of Valhalla. No matter which opera or which part of any of the works this happens with. Nowadays, we would know it like a theme. We would know it more like a theme. However, the point of the leitmotif is that it is being used to reference a different piece of music while being in a completely separate piece of music. This is something that happens a lot in Genshin Impact. The Fatui, the Raiden Shogun leitmotif, which I think was something like I think was this leitmotif that shows up in a bunch of different pieces that have nothing to do with one another, but it is used to reference that it is Inazuma. Yeah, the Inazuma leitmotif to reference Inazuma. That is a leitmotif. So every leitmotif is a motif. A motif becomes a leitmotif when you see it used in a different piece of music to refer back to the original theme. that is when you get a leitmotif. So we are getting the Fatui leitmotif to remind us of the Fatui on that initial introduction, just like we get the Inazuma leitmotif and all of these very, very different ones. Really cool. We bring now the accordion. Let's see where it goes. We're slowly escalating the background track. Alright, we change it around. Now we're having downward arpeggios going with these strings. So we're having the upper violins and violas going downwards while the bassi is going upwards, giving us a really, really cool sense of contour emotion while still having that beautiful, beautiful accordion. Oh, very beautiful. And we calm things down, we bring back the flutes. And right now it's mainly being carried by the timpani. Timpani being these drums over here. Very, very wild. Extreme, hey, welcome today. Nice, you got the PC back. Hell yeah, brother. Glad to see you. Welcome to today. How you doing? So yeah, absolutely very intense. Very, very intense. You can tell it's a battle theme. Let's see where it goes. And right now the flute is doing accents. You can hear the flute playing. Some of them are louder, some of them are not. That's an accent. In music, we're highlighting specific points in our rhythm. In your GPU, nice. I'm a computer nerd, so I've been doing that by myself for the past 10 years, but I can see why people wouldn't. My computer is absolutely cursed. So anyway, let's see where this goes. Still nice. What you get? So yeah, more intensity. Oh, we bring a piano? Oh, you heard that piano going with those trills. Trill being an absolutely wonderful thing in music. Trill is when you play two notes that are usually next to one another really, really fast. So instead of playing them at the same time, you play them. So instead, let's say we have B and C. Instead of that, you play them, instead of playing them together, you play them in a trill, which makes them, very funnily enough, a what we would call a quantum note, because you can get the sound of both and neither at the same time, so they both count as being there and not being there at the same time. It's a really, really cool thing in music. And right now, of course, we're having the piano doing that. Very, very cool. Oh, nice, Extreme Man. Nice. That's good. Good to know. Hell yeah. All right, let's see where this goes. Now we have the piano doing those arpeggios, while the accordion is doing what the bassi was doing. The melody is carried now to the French horns. Beautiful. So yeah, we bring back the strings in the background doing their thing, and now we have the French horn giving us the melody. This is what a French horn looks like. It's one of the more beautiful instruments when it comes to melodies. Very awkward to play though, because you have to stick your hand into the bell in order to play it, and there's no hook or anything for you to grab onto. So let's see where this goes. Cover. I'll remind me to talk about my computer after this, right? Remind me to talk about my computer after the video, because I have stories. So yeah, let's see where this goes. No offer musics. They're fairly rare nowadays, yeah. So yeah, we're having a slower version of the melodies. We're having doublings right now. Of course, doubling being when you have more than one instrument playing the same thing at the same time. And on top of that, we're doing elongation. Elongation being when you play something slower in music. So you hear right now the flute is a lot slower than it was at the start. We are elongating the melodies so that we can play them more over time, giving the accompaniment more time to just show off. The first theme is about to end, so let's see how it goes. Downward going arpeggios with accents from the brass. We bring in a xylophone as well, marimba I think, and we go to we have there a half cadence that now leads to the second phase. The half cadence, of course, you finish the music unfinished to lead to this. Let's do it again. Half cadence. And we then resolve into the second stage. So now, I like how this is following something similar to sonata form. Sonata form is usually the type of format used for, well, sonatas and symphonies, where you have 3 movements. The first movement is gonna be some sort of fast-ish movement. Second movement is gonna be slower in terms of pace, and then the third movement is going to be presto vivace kind of thing. It's gonna be the most climactic one that we are having. We are now bringing in triplets. You can feel that feeling of triplets. We're having those arpeggios going down, the brass instruments, you know, the trombones, the French horns are really shining over here, giving us a way darker feeling, which is usually something you get in a second movement. Your second movement needs to be a nice contrast from the first and third movements. So now we're bringing this down. Let's see where it goes. Oh, we bring an organ, a pipe organ. The power. Doing similar to what we were doing before. A bunch of arpeggios. Very beautiful arrangement. Okay, so now we replace, we have the timpani doing what is called rolls. A roll in music is usually for drums, when you're having the drrrr kind of thing. We're having those in the timpani. Again, these 4 drums over here. We're having that while we bring in a chorus. A chorus is going to be a group of people that are singing, usually divided into 4 parts. The SATB, which stands for soprano, alto, tenor, and bass. Let me put a little division mark over here. So, soprano is going to be the high end of the range for women. Alto is going to be the lower range for women. Tenor is going to be the higher range for men, still lower than the alto. Bass is the lowest one. These 4 over here are going to make anywhere between 90 to 95% of the world population. If we introduce the ones that are in the middle, so for between soprano and alto, you can have mezzo soprano, which is going to have the range of either the full range of the soprano and the alto, or somewhere in between. And between the tenor and the bass, you're going to have the baritone. Which, same deal, it's either going to be the full range of tenor and bass or somewhere in between. This takes it from anywhere between 90 to 95 to 90 to 99.99% of the world population. Anything that falls outside of these 6 is extremely rare. So yeah, usually you're going to have just the SATB, you're going to divide them, and now, of course, they are singing lyrics while holding down the chords. Let's see where this goes. And we have a piano giving us the melody. The piano is what is really carrying the smaller melody. All right, bit of silence. So yeah, you see how the pace is now a lot slower. We're now having this call and response between the brass giving us that very nice Hans Zimmer boom kind of thing, while we're then having the flutes answering the response. The response being a musical conversation. You can hear it very clearly over here. Let's see where this goes. Like how people find these games I've never heard of with quite beautiful music. It's Genshin Impact. They are a music company masquerading as a game company. So yeah. Jerome, welcome today. How you doing? Let's see where it goes. Alright, that's kind of like a synth. Alright. We engage in a tutti. Tutti means everybody is playing the same thing from their instrument. We're just playing this motif slower. This is a transitional part so that we can build into the next movement. Let's see where it goes. Do those voice terms apply to regular speech? In general, speech is going to sound different than singing. So there might be an indicator, usually, like you will be able to hear more or less who is an alto, who's a baritone, who's a tenor, that kind of thing, usually in their tone of voice. Usually the tone of voice that you have on the person is going to match their singing voice because it's the same vocal range, it's the same vocal cords. In my case, for example, I'm a baritone. I have a good chunk of the bass when it comes to the bass vocals. I can sing very nice and bassy melodies. I can't go all the way like other basses, but I can go pretty low. But I also have higher up on the tenor. If you were to talk, for example, with Isaac Wolf, he is a countertenor, so his voice is a lot higher. His register is a lot higher than mine, so he's gonna sound a lot higher than me. And in my case, of course, I've practiced speaking when it comes to my voice, so I know how to take advantage of my voice and the bassiness of it. But yeah, usually there's an overlap. Sometimes it can be deceptive. For example, in my case, when I sing tenor, my tenor lines, it can come across as a surprise, because I can get fairly high for my range. I can get fairly high from my range. So it can be an indicator. It's not going to always 100% be a determining factor. Let's see where this goes. So yeah, we're just make this purely second movement transitional, giving us this epic. Let's see. And now we're on to the third movement. Oh no, it had one last hit from the piano, ending on a low note, so that we can go into the third phase, or the third movement in this case. Immediately you can tell we have the cellos over here giving us the rhythm. We're having those orchestral percussions really hammer it on. Melody being carried by the violins, brass giving us that response, the melody, motifs, variations still. We switch over. Same thing as we had at the start, just now we bring in the chorus. And we have like some Chinese synths going on as well. Let's see. I can't tell if that's a synth or an electric guitar, but it could be either. I'm going to call it a synth. But we're now bringing in, of course, we're relying now on this version of the motif, which usually for this kind of symphonic thing with sonata form, you're going to be basing the whole thing more or less on the same motif or the same overall idea. So in this case, these melodies are going to overlap a lot with the melodies that we heard at the start. So we're having that going on. We're going back to the idea of the solos, and we are just bringing this with a now more electronic aspect in the solo. Let's see where it goes. Yeah, it's a synth. It's a keyboard. Yeah. Alright, a break with we have a plucked string with some of the string orchestra doing its thing. Complete switch. We bring in a solo vocalist. No, it is not, Banana. It's not. It's Brad Q. We bring in an electric guitar, giving us variations. Ooh, and we have a nice crescendo with the brass. This was the whole brass, except the tuba. So we have the French horns, the trombones, the trumpets, all going louder. That's what a crescendo is, right? Like you're going louder with this. Very rare that you have something like this that allows for a crescendo like that in the trumpets, in the brass, because these are very loud instruments. And we are still relying on this really cool, like short runs of the strings. We're playing now with this rhythm, which is giving us a really cool sense of momentum and motion. This is really cool. Very cool. What is your favorite Genshin Impact music so far? I don't know. I have horrible memory. By the time we finish this, I will have forgotten how this sounds. Because for me, there's Mozart, and then there's everybody else. I enjoy the moment. I do my best to enjoy the moment, the music at the moment. Because chances are I will forget it. That's just how I am. Like, I have such bad memory. Anyway, let's see where this goes. So we moved it over to the strings. Maybe Colombia, maybe. We're now having the chorus giving us those metronomes while we're having those crescendos in the brass. Oh, beautiful trumpets. Little break over here, we take it down. So it's kind of like a music box, giving us a variation of the runs that we were having. Who's your favorite music artist, music-wise? Mozart. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. He's the #1 best musician to ever live. He's my favorite. He's my favorite composer. His work is always incredibly perfect. And he's just, yeah, brilliant. Not a good role model, but yeah. Like, I own very few DVDs, like, you know, physical media. One of them is Mozart's 3 best operas, Don Giovanni, Le Nozze di Figaro, and Die Zauberflöte. So it's Don Giovanni, The Wedding of Figaro, and The Magic Flute. And it's like their performances in the Royal Opera House, and they're all brilliant. Like, if I show you my Spotify, right? Like, here is Mozart Symphonies 38. Like, this is not something I listen to too much. Symphonies by Mozart, a little bit of Bach, Mozart Symphonies, we have Clair Obscur, of course, Solkrieg, and then the more you scroll down, the more you're going to see Mozart, and I just love them. So, yeah. List is cool. Like, the other composers are really good. It's just that they're not Mozart. So yeah, we're having that. Let's finish this because we have about 30 seconds, like 50 seconds. Let's see where it goes. We bring back the organ, doing variations with the strings, giving us a bit of adornments there. Crescendo from the brass again. So we slow down the pace of the notes a little bit, but the percussion keeps that pace, that momentum going. We're now having the strings giving us those downward arpeggios, while the melody is now being carried by the brass, the French horns, the trombones. Oh, this is beautiful. See what it is. We have now the chorus doing doublings, and a solo vocalist doing more vocals, and bringing it back down to this like music box. And there you go, a couple of runs more that will then allow this whole thing to loop back to the start. And there you have it. Man, Genshin Impact is just always so incredibly beautiful. There you go, that was the Tartaglia Child battle theme, all phases from the Genshin Impact soundtrack. Once again, everybody, this has been a Basterd's LFA, a layman-friendly analysis. I'm a professionally trained musician and composer, and my objective here has been to explain things in a way so that you don't have to be one to understand what's happened here, musically. So, if you're watching this on the YouTube video archive thing, thank you for watching. Make sure you're following the channel, subscribe to the channel, whatever term you want to use. Like the video, share the video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, become a member. Once again, everybody, if we somehow hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube before Christmas of 2025, which not very likely, but still possible. If that happens, on top of doing the audiobook fan fiction thing, I will also play a single video game of the choice of the community, whatever you all want. We'll dedicate a couple of streams to that, within terms of service, of course. We'll probably do giveaways as well, that kind of stuff. This has to be achieved through legitimate and honest means only. No account duping, no botting, no buying followers, no alt accounting, no rat behaviors like that. Go share the videos, the streams with your friends, with your families, with your family's friends, with your friends' families. Those are two very distinct concepts, by the way. With your online and offline communities, go share these videos far and wide with everybody that you know. Also use the hype function on YouTube. We have a group on the Discord that coordinates for that, link down below. That kind of stuff. Artists, open invitation to collaborate. If any artists on YouTube or otherwise want any of my musical skills, whether it is my guitars, Mongolian throat singing, you know, the good old kind of thing, regular singing, voice acting, whatever it is, just reach out, let me know, whether it's in the comments, Instagram, Twitter, Discord, whichever it is, just reach out, let me know. Let's get to work, right? And if you're in the audience and you know somebody could benefit, let them know. Please do not harass anyone. Please do not spam anyone. Be cool about things. Don't be a rat. Members get early access to the content. I schedule the videos for the week on Saturdays, and if you're a paid member on YouTube, regardless of your tier, you get access to the videos when I schedule them, at least for the LFAs. So become a member today. If you want to listen to this without me interrupting every 3.5 seconds, I will be linking it in the description down below. If you want to request a song and you are not on the live stream, check the pinned comment in this video. If you are on the live stream, you can go ahead and start requesting songs now. And if you want to catch the streams when they happen live, we aim for Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Central European Time. If you are not in Europe, do not worry. We have the full up-to-date streaming schedule showing in your local time zone in both Discord and Twitch. So if you live in Dildo, Canada, and you're like, yeah, but what time is 6 p.m. in Hungary? I don't live there. Don't worry. Just go to Discord or Twitch, both linked down below, and it's going to show in your local time zone. And follow the gaming channel. I have a gaming channel because, of course, I have a gaming channel. I'm on YouTube. What else could I possibly have? Games are Basterd. That's where I put the gaming after show recordings when they happen. We record them live on stream. And then the recordings go there. Link down below, or just search on YouTube. Same username as James R. Basterd. Just swap the J for a G, and you got it. And yeah, there you go. There you go. Tartaglia child battle theme. That was awesome, dude. Really, really good stuff. Genshin never ceases to amaze me. Good stuff, good stuff. But yeah, let's move on.